Good morning. Good morning. Here we are again, in one of those very strange works, almost like a proving ground or a testing ground. And I'm wondering, who I'm kidding? Because every time we come together, it seems Spirit invents a new way to show us the same old truth. This morning, the shape is simple, even a little shocking. For 7 days, we ask for nothing at all. 7 days of a fast from asking. Now don't run yet. Oh, not at all. Not at all. This is not deprivation, not asceticism, not a punishment, and certainly not a pious pretense that you have no rent, no aches, no children to raise, no boss to face, no dinner to cook. No. We live in the world. The garbage men still come, and bless them, they come early. We are not going to become holy nuisances. This is not about ignoring forms. This is about shifting the center. From trying to move the pieces on the board to standing in the presence that is the board, the breath, the life. Is it possible, just possible, that much of what we have called prayer has been outcome management, forms and fixes and outlines, rather than the knowing of God? Is it possible that we have tried to instruct God or influence God or bargain with God? And if that is so, is it any wonder that strain and separation creep in? For the one who manages must also fear that things may not be managed. But the one who abides in presence discovers another economy. So for 7 days, we will make our prayer a single, steady turning. Seek me only. Seek me only. Not a new thought, but a new altitude, above the sea of thought. All the waves of thinking, the pictures we worship or resist, the sounds that tell us, the tastes and textures that persuade us. Above that sea, there is a quiet air. And in that air, we do not ask for warmth or light. We come into the sun. You can't ask the sun to shine. You can bring yourself into the sunshine. Automatically, warmth and tan. Automatically, the qualities of the source as effects. Now, let us be honest. This is a strange little experiment. We are not here to manufacture miracles or to take a victory lap next week. We are here to see, with an honest, non-anxious curiosity, what gets added when attention returns to the kingdom. Seek me only, and then watch, not with greedy eyes, not with a stopwatch, but with a humble heart, what is added to you. If nothing is added for a day, do not be discouraged. The point is the altitude, not the calendar. And you are safe. You are safe in this. When the reflex to ask rises, and it will, remember, we are not denying life. We are recentering it. We will learn a gentle turn. Today only set your intention. For 7 days, no petition, no outlining. Presence first. Presence only. Where God is, I am. Seek me only. Then let us see, even as we answer the door, pay the bills, love the children, what the presence adds of itself. Now, before we go any farther, let us be very clear on this point. What do we mean by asking? Because if you leave here thinking I said, don't make a grocery list, don't call the plumber, don't return the doctor's call, we will have a comedy on our hands, and the worst kind. Pious comedy. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Honest living is not asking. Paying bills is not asking. Changing a tire in the rain is not asking. That is common sense and a mercy to your fellow motorists. Asking, as we mean it here, is that inward motion that turns toward God as to a distant power and petitions for forms. Health, money, a decision, an apology, a change in their attitude, a parking place near the door, while assuming that God is over there and we are over here, and between us there is a cable along which requests can be sent and results returned. I know how natural it feels. The personal sense rises at dawn with its old story. I am here with my needs, and God is there with the warehouse. Perhaps if I phrase it correctly, or with enough fervor, or add a promise or two, the order will ship. Who am I kidding? Am I trying to instruct God? Influence God? Outline for God? Am I composing a memorandum on how best to run omniscience? The moment I hear that in myself, I must smile. Oh, not at all. Not at all. The sun does not take orders for warmth. It shines. We bring ourselves into the light. Now here is the hidden cost, and it is not so humorous. Petition as outcome management ties our attention to the picture. We begin to stare, to measure, to check the clock and the mirror. Has it changed yet? Has my prayer worked yet? In that staring, the little I grows. I must fix. I must heal. I must persuade. I must control. The nervous system is trained to the waves, not to the quiet air above the sea. We become foremen of fate, clipboard in hand, and the clipboard gets heavy. And still, hear me, we are not to swing into passivity or irresponsibility. It doesn't mean you don't take the next right step. It doesn't mean you don't answer the letter, or consult wisely, or set a boundary with kindness. It does mean that the center of gravity changes. First presence, then the step. First the inner contact, then the phone call. When we skip the contact and run to the phone, even our good works carry a hum of strain. So the fast is not a scold. It is a revealer. For 7 days we are going to catch the reflex midstream. There it comes. Please, God, make them. And we pause. We label it gently. There's the ask. There's the bevel. We need a sense of humor here. Otherwise we become grim saints, and no one wants to live with a grim saint. We turn within, not to wrestle, not to wordsmith, just to seek the awareness of presence. And then we take the next sane, kind step that presents itself. No condemnation, no scoreboard. Only the quiet relocation of trust from the picture to the presence. And that, my friends, is the whole point. This habit of managing outcomes has been reinforcing separation and strain. The fast will let us see it, smile at it, and rise above the sea of thought where asking is swallowed up in being. Now we come to the one prayer left standing. Strip it all away, and for 7 days our only prayer is this. Turn within for an actual awareness, an actual feeling, a click of God's presence. Not a thought about God, not a sentence about God, not even a very fine metaphysical statement about God. No, a contact. Until we feel it stirring, until the hum begins, until there is that little inner nod that says, "Here." We have not yet begun to pray. When that is felt, even for a breath or two, prayer has occurred. The rest are echoes. You cannot ask the sun to shine. You can bring yourself into the sunshine. Automatically, warmth. Automatically, light. Automatically, color changes, attitude changes. Even your poor vitamin D count cheers up. Do you write a letter to the sun requesting 11 lumens more? Do you negotiate for a better tan? Oh, not at all. Not at all. You step out from the shade. You remove the umbrella. The sun is what it is. Its qualities follow its presence. So with God. We do not pray for warmth. We do not pray for supply. We do not pray for health. We do not pray for wisdom. We seek the source. Seek me only. Seek me only. And the qualities that we have been begging for will reveal themselves as natural effects of presence, not trophies of our pleading. Now, lest we run off into the weeds, let us say what this does not mean. It does not mean we deny responsibilities. It does not mean we become stubborn about medicine or refuse good counsel, or fail to plan a journey, or to lock the door at night. It does not mean we become impractical saints with their heads in a halo and their feet in the air. Oh, not at all. Not at all. It means we stop trying to use God as a lever to pry effects into place. It means we cease attempting to influence omniscience and instead place ourselves in its light until it influences us, our seeing, our choosing, our next right step. How will you know you have prayed? First sign, not out there, here. A shift in altitude, the sea of thought, the swells of fear and the waves of planning and the whitecaps of argument becomes distant. You can still hear it, but you are above it. Shoulders drop. The breath softens. The compulsion to check the clock and the mirror loosens. The sentence, "I must fix," loses its grip. Sometimes there is a warmth. Sometimes there is a spaciousness. Sometimes only a quiet conviction. Where God is, I am. That presence of God is the insurance policy. It is the safety. That is the measure we are watching these 7 days, not the thermometer or the bank account first, but the inner barometer that rises when we are in the sun. And from this day forward in our little fast, this is the discipline that undergirds every theme we will take up. Morning, we seek the click before coffee. Noon, we pause and seek it before we speak. Evening, we do not close our eyes without touching it again. Everything else in our week, the forms, the outcomes, the beebles, are additions, not targets. Seek me only, and allow the light to do what light does. We will not chase its warmth. We will stand in it. And then, as naturally as day follows dawn, what is needed will be added. Now, if we are to do this safely and sanely, we need a small fence around the garden. A few rules that are not punishments, but protections. First, no petitions, silent or spoken. The mind will try to slip them in with sweet language, but a request in a hymn is still a request. Second, no outlining of outcomes. Not even, "How about this lovely plan, Lord?" The sun does not negotiate tans. Third, when a need appears, turn within and seek the kingdom. Seek the click of presence before you move a finger. Fourth, take the right human footsteps that present themselves, but do not worship them. They are not saviors. They are servants that follow the light. Now, how does this look in the wild? The ask reflex will pop like a jack-in-the-box at the most inconvenient times. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not to grit our teeth and play statue. The fast succeeds by a quick, gentle redirect. The moment you feel the bargaining begin, "If you will, then I will," stop mid-sentence and pivot. "Father, reveal thyself." Or, if that is too many syllables, "thy presence," or simply, "seek me only." Do not decorate it. Do not add a clause. Turn within, rest a breath or two until there is the slightest softening, some sense of altitude, and then proceed. To help the pivot, carry a little cue in your pocket. The Bible. A bevel is anything to which we are giving undue importance. This diagnosis, that job, this apology we must have by Tuesday. When you catch the spell, name it softly, even playfully. Ah, a bevel. You need a sense of humor, or the bevel will turn you into a bishop of worry. Naming it loosens it. With the bevel labeled, the picture loses glamour, and you can turn from the picture to presence. Remember, we are not suppressing desire by willpower. We are relocating attention. Asking talks to a God believed to be elsewhere, about effects believed to be elsewhere. Listening rests in God here, until guidance and peace emerge of themselves. As the sea of thought recedes, you discover the impulse for the next simple step. Make the call, take the pill, cancel the meeting, write the note, take the walk. You take it, not as a savior, not as a lever, but as the natural footprint of inner stillness. Try it right where life pinches. A bill arrives, and the old prayer rises. Please send money. Catch it. Bell. Turn. Father, reveal thyself. Wait for the drop of shoulders, the small release. Then perhaps you see one sane step. Review the account, call the vendor, or simply do today's work with a clean heart. Or a child grows warm in the night. Instantly, bell. Turn, thy presence. Seek the click, then do the right care without fear, and do it in the light, not under the lash. The difference is not in the thermometer, it is in the center from which you act. These are the rules that will hold for all 7 days, as we turn to particular arenas, speech and thought, time and supply, relationships and body, and finally service. Each day adds an angle, but never a new center. Always the same pivot. Label the bauble. Turn within. Seek presence. Take the next right step. Seek me only. Seek me only. And let the additions be added. Day 1 begins where life actually happens. In the hallway as you reach for your shoes, at the sink with the morning dishes, at the red light where the mind rehearses a conversation you've already had 3 times. Today is discovery. You will be surprised, oh you will, how often asking happens under the breath. Tiny negotiations. Please let that email be kind. Tiny fears dressed as reverence. Lord, just this once, make this meeting short. Tiny demands disguised as politeness. If you fix this, I promise I'll be better organized. Who am I kidding? We are not praying. We are managing. And we are managing because the picture has hypnotized us. So we learn the pivot in the wild. The instant the mind presents a problem, do not wrestle the picture. Do not arm wrestle your own thought. That is still the sea. Instead, stop the inner argument and rise above the sea of thought by turning, quietly, quickly, within, until the sense of presence stirs. That is the whole art of today. We are not fixing, we are relocating. The micro-sequence is simple enough to carry in your pocket. Notice tension, jaw sets, breath shortens, shoulders crawl up. Name it as picture. That's all. Picture. Then breathe. One ordinary breath will do, and be still for a beat. Turn to inward listening. And then a simple acknowledgement, not as a spell, but as a fact. Where thou art, I am. If that is too long, thy presence. Or simply, here. Wait for the smallest softening, a hint of altitude, and then move on to the next sane step. You will find, again and again, the old reflex reaching for the steering wheel. Yes, yes, presence, but let me just dash off a persuasive paragraph. No, not at all. Not at all. Let us not become the foreman of fate with a clipboard at dawn. It will feel strange, of course it does, because the personal mind has been captaining this ship for years. Awkwardness is not failure. It is merely a sign that a new center of gravity is dawning. Keep a sense of humor. If the pivot squeaks and clanks the first times, smile at it. Even a rusty hinge swings when it is used. Let me be very clear. We do not become statues. After the click, you still send the email, but not as a lever. You still answer the child, but from quiet, not from panic. Sometimes, after that little "where thou art, I am," the same step appears as before, but its weight is gone. Sometimes a simpler step appears that you would have missed in the noise. In either case, the picture is demoted to its proper place, and presence returns to its. By evening, expect only this: a little less urgency, a little more room in the chest. You will taste, perhaps for seconds at a time, that peace is not the reward for a solved problem. Peace is the atmosphere of contact, and problems become as weather moving through it. Day 1 is the pivot. Stop wrestling the picture. Turn, rise above the sea of thought, feel for the hum of presence, and then take the next right step in the light. Seek me only, and let the rest be added when and as it will. Day 2 takes the habit we met yesterday and turns the screw a little further. If asking is the front door of outcome management, outlining is the back door no one locks. Even when the lips are quiet, no "give me" in sight, the mind begins to draft. How, when, through whom, in what order, on what calendar, with which tone of voice and which stationery. Have you noticed? I'm not asking, I'm just arranging. Who am I kidding? The clipboard of fate loves flowcharts. Let us bring a little inquiry to this. Is the infinite dependent on my plan? Is supply limited to my channels? Is harmony confined to my preferred timing? Does omniscience wait breathless for my diagram? The moment we put it into words, we can smile. Oh, not at all. Not at all. And yet, the pull to outline is strong because it is powered by fear. Fear says, unless I specify the steps, the good will miss my door by a house. But the sun does not require my route to warm me. I step into the light, and warmth is added. So the practice today is not to crush every plan and become a holy jellyfish. It doesn't mean we drift. It means we hold plans lightly, like soap bubbles, pretty while they last, and not to be grieved when they pop. When a plan arises, acknowledge it. Outline. Write it on the pad if you must. Get it out of the mind's clenched fist. Then turn within and seek the click. Thy presence. 1 breath. 2. Wait for the inner yes that is peace, a soft green light, or the quiet release that says, let it go, without a sermon. If there is no click yet, do not muscle a plan into holiness. Seek me only. Seek me only. Then take the next right step that appears in that light. This is not passivity. This is obedience. We still act, but we act as response rather than pressure. Action as obedience, not anxiety. You may find that the step you feared is still the step, only now it carries no thorns. Or you may find a simpler step appears. Call the other person. Take the earlier train. Send the 2-sentence note instead of the manifesto. Often, outlining had us doing 3 things to accomplish the one thing that love would have done in 5 minutes. Rising above the sea of thought, guidance simplifies. Try it in a live case. You believe, This job must come through that recruiter by Friday. Mark it. Bibble. Outline. Turn. Where thou art, I am. Seek the click. Perhaps peace settles and you feel to polish the resume and send it. Fine. Do it in the light, not with a stopwatch. Perhaps instead a quiet thought. Call your old colleague. That was not on the chart, but grace rarely asks permission from our charts. Or in the body. I must be well by Thursday to make the trip. Outline. Turn. Click. Then take the same care in the light. You will notice the calendar loosens its grip. Health and timing are not enemies in presence. Expect this shift by evening. You may be doing less and accomplishing more. The strain of managing your own drafts eases. Decisions begin to make themselves in you, not from laziness, but from a wiser center that wastes no motion. The form giver gives form. We let God be God, while we become responsive, available, simple. Seek me only, and let what belongs to this hour be added in its own unhurried way. Day 3 comes to the hinge of the whole fast. We have noticed the asking. We have noticed the outlining. Now we ask a quieter question. Who is the one who asks? Who is the one who drafts the charts? You will find, if you listen, a very familiar narrator. I, me, mine. I need, I must, my plan, my healing, my success. And now the gentle edge appears, not a knife edge to wound us, but the clean edge that opens a seed pod. If the one who asks is the one who believes itself separate, then our 7-day fast must touch the I/me/mine habit at its root. Or we will be forever trimming the branches while the old tree grows new twigs by afternoon. Now hear this without fear. We are not erasing your personality. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We do not need another row of holy mannequins in this world. We need you, with your laugh, your way of buttering toast, your way of saying good morning. What dissolves today is not color or voice, but ownership, authorship. This inner claim that life originates in a private self to be protected and promoted by prayer. It doesn't mean you cannot say the word I mechanically. English would be hard without it. It does mean we begin to stop claiming the nouns that do not belong to a person. There is no my supply, no my health, no my wisdom, no my future. There is supply, health, wisdom, unfoldment, all of God, by God, as the appearing of God. We do not become irresponsible. Stewardship remains and even increases. But the steward is not the source. The steward is faithful because they know the house is the owner's. So, a small discipline for today. Like a bell on the door that rings each time the old habit enters. Catch the possessives. When you hear, even inwardly, my problem, pause and let the sentence be baptized. Thine is the kingdom. Or, God is the substance, the life, the law here. If you say, my decision, let it soften into the wisdom of God functioning as understanding here. If my body complains, do not argue. Simply remember, I live, yet not I. Christ liveth my life. Not as poetry only, but as the fact of identity. The moment the possessive loosens, pressure loosens with it. The steward consults the owner and takes the next right step. Calmly. Let us bring our old tumbler back to the table. Where does the outside glass leave off and the inside glass begin? Are there two glasses, or one glass serving two functions, containing and touching? There is but glass. So with God and man. God is our invisible selfhood, the life, the mind, the law. We are the visible form and function by which that one life shows itself. We are two in function, not two in being. Tell me then, where does God end and you begin? At your shoulder? At your sense of humor? At your bank account? There is no seam. There is only one life, one being, one mind, one substance, one law, appearing as your individuality and mine. This is not self-erasure, it is self-recognition. The little author retires, and the true author writes effortlessly through the same pen. What will you notice by evening? Less personal strain, less self-blame. The foreman with the clipboard takes a day off. You begin to feel carried, governed, included, rather than left to manage life with a bent paperclip and a frown. You may find yourself saying "I" as before, but inside there is a different witness, a wider I that is not nervous. Care emerges without caretaking. Action continues without the old heroics. This is the no I edge. Not a cliff to fall from, but a ledge to stand upon. Seek me only. Rise above the sea of thought, above my and mine, and let the one who is living you be seen as your very life. Then the additions will be added, and none of them will turn into new bibbles, because there is nothing left to own, only everything to express. Day 4 brings the bubble that keeps most of the world awake at night. Supply. And here we meet the paradox straight on. The way to have rightful use of life's goods is to surrender the desire for them as controlling objectives. When we chase them, they master us. When we seek presence, they become tools. The very moment a thing is made into life itself, a number, a title, a signature, it grows fangs. The very moment it is returned to its place as addition, it becomes a servant without teeth. Look around and see what has quietly become sacred in the modern temple. The little red dots on the phone, notifications. They ring like prayer bells in a monastery, and we bow on cue. The status line on a profile we refresh as if checking the tides. The argument we must win before midnight or civilization collapses. The metrics that promise you are real if this curve rises. The perfect answer we compose in the shower. The perfect outcome with its perfect lighting. Beebles, all, with a fancy font. A Beeble is anything to which we attach undue importance. It is not evil, it is enthroned. And once enthroned, it dictates our hours, our breath, our prayer. Who am I kidding? If my joy depends on a red dot, then a server in Utah has become my priest. So, the practice today. When lack appears, resist the old reflex to ask for money, for opportunity, for a fix. Do not bargain with God as if omniscience were the head teller at a bank. Pause, name it gently, boule, picture, and turn. Seek me only. Seek me only. Wait until fear loosens. There will be a felt drop, a small widening, a return to breathable air above the sea of thought. Let the presence of God be the insurance policy. Then listen. Listen for the one practical step that presents itself in that quiet. Call, apply, budget, apologize. List the resources you actually have and bless them. Open the drawer and send the invoice you have delayed. Take the step, yes, and do not worship it. It is not the Savior. It is the footprint of peace. Now, be reassured. We are not glorifying poverty. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not making a virtue of neglect. We are refusing slavery to effects. It doesn't mean we don't save, invest, work, plan. It doesn't mean we throw away labor-saving devices and write sermons with a stick on bark. It means we give up the inward compulsion that says life is in the bauble. We demote the thing to its rightful place. In that demotion, you become, at last, master of fate, not by domination, but by non-enslavement. What should you expect today? Gratitude without bargaining. Thank you, not thank you if. A steadier pulse when bills cross the desk. Very often, you will watch channels open you did not invent. A forgotten credit, a friend's timely note, an idea that trims an expense with no loss of good. Let these come and go as weather. They are additions, not proofs. The sign we watch is inward. Has peace risen? Has worship shifted from bibbles to being? If so, supply is already flowing, even before digits rearrange on a screen. Seek me only. Stand in the sun. The warmth is added. Then put your hands to the simple work given this hour, and keep the bibbles where they belong, in the drawer, not on the throne. Day 5 brings our fast into the most tender room in the house. Relationships. Here the ask reflex is at its cleverest. Change them. Fix this. Make them see. Make me appreciated. We can go a whole day without petitioning for money, and then lose the whole 7 days in 11 seconds of, Lord, make him admit it. Who am I kidding? That is not prayer. That is lobbying. And the result is the same old sea of thought, waves of defense and counter-defense, while love, which cannot be managed, waits for an opening. Now let us be very clear. This does not mean we excuse harm, or avoid boundaries, or smile beatifically while someone shouts in our face. Oh, not at all. Not at all. It doesn't mean you fail to tell the truth, fail to leave the room, fail to call a doctor, a counselor, or even the authorities when love requires firmness. It does mean we stop praying from resentment, from wounded pride, from the need to win the verdict. It means we stop holding another as a separate, broken identity to be repaired by our spiritual engineering. The moment I behold you as a problem person, I have already separated us into 2 lives with 2 minds. And then I kneel to ask God to bridge a chasm I myself imagine. So, how do we practice? The instant you are triggered, tone in a text, a look across the table, the old story in the voice. Name it. Picture. Bubble. Catch the reflex. Make them and pivot. Father, reveal thyself. Or simply, thy presence. Turn from person as problem to presence as identity. Rise above the sea of thought until there is the faint hum, the click. Then, in that altitude, remember the tumbler. Where does the inside leave off and the outside begin? There is but glass. Where does God end and this one begin? There is but God. One life, one mind, one love, appearing here as you and as me. Hold no picture of a sinner to fix or a saint to flatter. Rest in the fact, God is the invisible selfhood of this one. We are only 2 in function. From that quiet, let the words or the silence form. Sometimes you will speak a boundary with a softness that surprises even you. I will talk when we are calm. Now I'm stepping away. Sometimes you will apologize without groveling. Sometimes you will say nothing and discover that the conversation resolves itself without your pushing. Timing falls like a ripe apple without your shaking the tree. Action remains, but it is response, not manipulation. Love acts. It does not maneuver. This is absent treatment, without fuss or jargon. You refuse to hold another in a fractured identity, and in secret, you know them where they really are, in God. No mental darts, no willpower halos, no trying to project nice thoughts through the wall. Simply the recognition. Where God is, we are. One life is the doer here. Do then the sane, kind step that appears. Write the note, postpone the meeting, ask the question, or set the boundary. Yet do it in the light, not under the lash of being right. What changes by evening? Reactivity softens. The compulsion to deliver the closing argument weakens. Openings appear that argument could not pry open. A phone call comes when tempers have cooled. A child returns to finish the talk without being summoned. The harsh email you were composing turns into one sentence of truth, and peace walks out with it. No fireworks are required. Often, the miracle is timing. Love's rhythm replaces our stopwatch. Seek me only. Bless by seeing oneness, not by pushing images around in your head. Turn from the picture. Rise above the sea of thought. Feel the click. And then let love take your tongue, your feet, your no, your yes. Where God is, we are. That presence of God is the insurance policy of every relationship. In that presence, manipulation dissolves, and blessing becomes natural as warmth to one standing in the sun. Now we come to the tender place, day 6, where the body speaks and the mind rushes to the microphone. Pain, symptoms, fatigue, the sudden lurch of dizziness, the spike on the thermometer, and something in us says, surely I must ask now. Surely now I must bargain for relief. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not to become martyrs, and we are not to become magicians. We are to refuse hypnosis. We do not ignore. We rise above. We do not make a religion of stoicism. We practice freedom from thought. What is thought here? It is the total report of the senses. What is seen on the skin, heard in the joint, tasted in the mouth, plus the entire commentary that piles on after it. This is serious. This will ruin my week. I knew it. I can't afford this. Thought becomes a sea. The waves are the sensations, the gale is the story. And if we go under that sea, we will pray from fear and call it faith. Our work is the same as always. Rise above the sea of thought into the altitude of presence, where the inner barometer steadies, and we remember life is not in the picture. So the practice today is very plain. When symptoms speak loudly, do not negotiate with God for a trade. Take this away and I will be grateful. That is asking for effects. Instead, stop. Label the picture. Yes, even smile. And turn. Father, reveal thyself. Or, thy presence. Or simply, here. Wait, not long. Just enough to feel the tiniest lift, the little click, shoulders lowering, breath returning. Rest as awareness. Acknowledge one life being all that is, including the body's true activity and law. Then, from that altitude, take the sane step that appears. Lie down, take the walk, call the nurse, cancel the meeting, take the medicine, place the compress. Do it in the light, not under the lash. We do not sin against wisdom. We refuse to worship the means. The means is a servant. Presence is the safety. Now let us be very clear about denial and transcendence. Denial fights the fact picture, argues with the thermometer, scolds the sensation, pins a label nothing over something and calls that victory. No, not at all. Not at all. Transcendence outgrows the picture by shifting identity. It doesn't say, there is no body. It says, body is not a private possession to be saved by petition. Body is the function of one life expressing, and I am steward, not owner. The moment we release ownership, fear loosens. Stewardship then becomes simple and exact. The next right care is evident and unburdened. Bring the tumbler to mind again. Where does the outside leave off and the inside begin? There is but glass. Where does God end and you begin? There is but life, one law, one activity, appearing here as circulation, as rest, as clarity. Stand there a breath, and the sea quiets. What will you notice by evening? Perhaps the symptom is quieter, perhaps not yet, but the panic has lost its crown. You will have more peace in the midst of condition, and with that peace, clearer intuition about care. What to do, what to release, when to sleep, when to move. You will feel the beginnings of the insurance, the presence that carries you through rather than yanking you out. And often, right in that quiet, the body obeys law without argument. It returns to order because order has been recognized. Seek me only. Seek presence first, and let right care follow. Turn from the picture, rise above the sea of thought, feel the click, and take the next step in the light. Where God is, I am. And that presence, felt even for a breath, is health's homeland and your safety now. Day 7 comes not with trumpets, but with a seal. Quiet. Not an ending, a beginning. This week has been one motion, one single arc. We turned from the picture to presence. We traded outlining for listening. We loosened personal ownership so that divine selfhood could stand where I had been trembling. We demoted the bibbles to tools and watched supply become addition instead of pursuit. We laid down relationship management and let love act from oneness. We rose above the sensory report without denial and let wise care be the servant of presence. Do you see the thread? Not 6 tricks, one direction. Up and in, above the sea of thought, until the click of God's presence is the atmosphere in which all doing takes place. Now, what gets added when the sun is stood in? Not a guaranteed package with your initials on the bow. Oh, not at all. Not at all. But watch what appears, almost shyly, like doves that will not land in a noisy yard. Added peace, a cleaner line of sight, right timing that saves 10 emails and 3 apologies, simpler action that does in minutes what pushing could not do in days, softened fear that gives the heart back its 2 hands. And yes, often enough to make you smile, outer harmonies, a call, a remission, a credit, a reconciliation, arriving without strain and refusing your attempts to appoint yourself their author. These are additions, not objects of worship. Hold them as weather, lovely and passing, while presence remains the sky. From experiment to way of life, here is the ongoing rule. Never begin the day or end it without inner contact. We may forget the umbrella. We may forget the briefcase. let us not forget God. If you ask me for one sentence to write on your mirror, write this: God is on the field when I know it. That knowing is not a thought. It is the click. Now a simple, sustainable rhythm. Morning, a seeking window before the day's gears engage. 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever is real. Sit, breathe, and with no petition at all, only this: Father, reveal thyself, or thy presence, or simply, here. Wait until the atmosphere changes, one shade lighter, and then go to your tasks as steward, not owner. Midday, a reset. 2 minutes in a doorway, a parked car, a restroom if needed. Turn from the picture, label the beebles that have gathered like burrs on your sleeve, and stand again in the sun. Where thou art, I am. Feel for the hum, then take the next simple step. Evening, a release. Lay down the day's trophies and failures alike. Not mine, thine. Bless the additions, hand back the beebles, and seal the night with presence, so that even sleep rests in God and not in exhaustion. Day 7 is our vow not to make a new bubble out of yesterday's blessing. Seek presence as first and last act. Let what belongs to the hour be added, and let what has served return to the drawer without sentiment. If we do this, the week never ends. It simply deepens. And now, we end not with more words. Let us be still a few minutes, that the teaching may move from lips to life, from concept to contact. Let us be still a few minutes. If a chair creaks, bless it. If a siren passes, let the city do its work, and we will do ours. If a thought says, make this a good meditation, smile at the old manager with the clipboard and invite him to take a coffee break. We will not manage even our stillness. Oh, not at all. Not at all. We are not after a show. We are after God. Let the body settle as it is. No perfect angles required. If the breath is shallow, let it be shallow. If it deepens, let it deepen. Notice the simple rising and falling as if you were watching tide on a quiet shore. Nothing to improve, nothing to win. We are laying down petition and outline at the door. We are laying down self-judgment too. If a verdict arrives, too noisy, not spiritual enough, late to this truth, we recognize it as a picture, a bubble, and set it gently on the sill. Seek me only. Turn within, not by squeezing the eyes or knitting the brow, but by remembering. Father, reveal thyself. Or, if even that feels like asking, then only, here. Rest as awareness. We are not making God arrive. We are noticing that presence is already the room, already the breath, already the life by which we are noticing. Now, listen beneath words. Feel for the one small shading of quiet that tells you the sea of thought has calmed a degree. A tiny click, perhaps nothing more than shoulders softening, the face forgetting to hold itself up. Stay. No pictures to push, no light to conjure. Recognition, not visualization. Where God is, I am. Not two lamps, one electricity. There is but glass. Let the breath come and go. If a need waves from the shore, bow to it and let it pass. We are not refusing care. We are refusing to worship the picture. Seek me only. If outline starts drawing, how, when, through whom, see the pencil, set it down. If petition gathers, give me, Fix it, change them. Lay the words in the basket by your feet. Presence first. Contact first. The warmth will be added. If you wish a word, let it be this: here, or thy presence. Let it ride the breath once or twice, and then fall away on its own. Sit in the falling away. Trust the slight, live hum that remains when the sentence is finished. That is enough. Now, very softly, let the inner voice speak universal truth without promise of baubles. Where God is, I am. All that the Father hath is mine, not as personal possession, but as the one life being all that is here. There is no my supply, no my wisdom. There is supply, wisdom, law, love. God as the life of me. We will not rush. We will carry this into the next hour. When the first ask appears, catch it, smile, bleh, and return to the kingdom. Turn from the picture, seek me only, feel for the click, and take the next simple step in that light. God is on the field when I know it. Let us know it now, and as we rise, let the knowing go before us like quiet footsteps, adding what belongs, removing what does not, while we remain in the sun.